Hey, what is up, lovelies? It is Lynn the Gacha Goblin, and I knew it was going to happen. But probably not for it wasn't for the reason that I thought it was going to happen for. But yes, there is still infighting happening on my timeline because of the new Caleb Myth banner released today, the trailer that came out. I knew it was going to happen. Like, it never fails to happen. However, I have been seeing some positivity being spread around and also a refocusing on what is important. And that was the whole point of this video that I had made and posted a little bit earlier today. I said if anyone is to blame, it's Infold, Love, and Deepspace. Guys, I cannot believe the response that I have gotten from this. Some people have been super supportive, and they know that we have to blame Infold for anything that happens in this game because it wasn't our decision to make Caleb the way he is, to make the actions that he does. It wasn't the players themselves who decided, yes, Caleb's going to have his kiss. That happens right now in this myth memory 2 months after he was released. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that was the player's fault. It is Infold's fault for doing that and causing an uproar amongst the community. And it is so nice to see people like all agree on this. And what's even nicer to see, okay, is people resonating that same message on Twitter itself, especially really big creators and really big influencers in the space. And I don't really mean content creators, but people who have a large following. So, of course, we have here Jules comes open. WTF did Silas do to make this company hate him so much? It's like cartoonishly evil at this point. And it is very true. I mean, we had to wait 6-7 months before we had Silas's kiss, before we had Silas's myth card, but January, February, March, April, March. Yeah, we only had to wait 2 months until we had those same things for Caleb. Now, you can argue that that was because we already knew who Caleb was, and technically the MC has a relationship with Caleb already, so getting them to actually love each other is not as difficult as getting a stranger who, MC thought had killed her parents, basically come in and fall in love with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to the storyline and like the believability of the characters and how the relationships form, I can understand having a much slower burn for Silas. However, the fact that it was released so soon for Caleb isn't fair. They should have at least made Caleb wait 4 months. I would have understood 4 months. 2 months though? 2 months, I feel like you're pushing it, and I feel like you're not even caring about what is going to happen in this community. That being said, a lot of people, look, I'm not going to take the credit, okay? I'm not going to take the credit, but I love that people are spreading this message around. This message in particular. I am excited for this myth banner. This is from Vaughn, but at the same time, I'm still extremely disappointed on how Infold is treating Silas. It's insanely unfair, but I also think that ruining other people's fun and excitement is unfair too. Let's direct our anger at Infold, not at each other. Oh my heart, guys. My heart is I am so happy, okay? I am so happy that people are like, let's not be angry at each other. It was out of our controls, guys. Let's be angry at the company that did this, okay? And the fact that this had 1000.1k hearts means that a lot of people agree with this. And hopefully that this message will spread even farther. And not only did Fawn here say that too, but we have Mads who said this as well. Now, Mads has been the #1 girly that I know on Twitter who has been pushing for Silas content back to back to back. She is a soldier, and having her say this message too and spread this kind of message is such a nice thing to see. Especially considering the amount of influence that they have amongst the Silas girlies as well. So Mads here says, I completely understand the timing of this myth and I'm okay with it. It seems like they're setting things up for the 3rd myths later this year, meaning the myths for the OG3. They're setting up this year so that way the focus can go on them later on in the year. What's frustrating though is that we were repeatedly told by to be patient with Silas because he was slow burn, and that we were overreacting since he was a new character. But now here we are, and within just 2 months there's already been a kiss and a myth for another love interest. I have every right to be irritated because while they're moving at normal paces for other love interests, they still haven't addressed the lack of content for Silas. It's especially frustrating when fans told us that we were being too impatient, yet here we are, still waiting for an update on Silas and what he's missing. I have no issues with Caleb or his mains. I'm genuinely happy for them, and I'm glad you get a normal progression. My frustration is with Infold and how they've handled the situation. I love this message, okay? This validates all of the concerns that Silas Lovelies have. It does not invalidate the excitement that Caleb and his mains have, and it is just, trying to relay in a very mature way, just expressing that there are concerns in this game with different love interests and how they're not treated fairly. And I love that this is the message that she's putting out there, and I really hope that so many people will repeat this message on Twitter, because my god, okay, the amount of infighting that happens in this game already is insane. And the fact that Infold does this to us and nobody realizes that they do this to us, that we're the ones who are just doing all of this infighting ourselves and creating all of this drama ourselves, when we can redirect everything to the company too. It is fantastic to have these messages being pushed out there, and I'm so happy, and I hope more people actually push this too, on a bigger and wider scape, way past Twitter, onto Reddit, onto Discord, onto Facebook, onto whatever you enjoy Love and Deepspace as a community on. I really do hope that we're all realizing that the people that we should be angry at is not at each other. It is not at a certain main. It is not at a certain love interest. It is really at the company. Because even me, when I was watching the trailer, I was like, ain't no way they gave Caleb a kiss already. I am so happy for you Caleb mains out there. I know you waited a long time for your man to get released out of the dungeons. However, in terms of releasing the characters and having it officially, out there, I mean, you guys could have waited a tiny bit. A tiny bit. That being said, I understand why the timing of this myth had to be now, because of the three original love interests having their third Stalactrum myth pair released later on this year. I understand that. I just feel like the timing was not the best, The timing was not the best in terms of releasing all of the content, especially now that, everyone is complaining about the lack of content for Silas, and then suddenly having this come out for Caleb. It's almost like a slap in the face when you look at it that way. However, my opinion is, if Infold had addressed Silas's situation months before, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. We would not feel so neglected and ignored if Infold had addressed the situation properly to its audience many months before. This started happening last year, and it's gone unaddressed. And even though they've been put on blast nationwide with the 3.15 report, even though they've been put on blast on the Black Cat complaints, third-party complaining website out there, there has been no feedback from Infold themselves, and it is very frustrating. Okay, I can understand why people would be super upset, but I am so happy that everyone's directing their anger towards Infold and not towards each other, because that is just the biggest message and the biggest takeaway that I want to take from this particular this particular situation. I am really happy for Caleb Lovelies out there. I am happy for myself. I consider myself a Caleb Lovely too, because I am a multi-stan. So I'm happy and I'm also sad. You know, I'm very torn. But yeah, this didn't need to be this way if everything was addressed earlier. And it's just like I said earlier, it's a slap in the face to anybody who has been waiting for Silas content, and it's really ridiculous. That's why people think that, you know, the people at Infold hate Silas so much. So that being said, I am so happy that, you know, you guys are really spreading that message out, that, you know, the person or the anyone to blame is basically Infold. I love you guys for that. That made me so happy when I saw it on my timeline. I had to like bookmark all the ones that I saw. I was like, oh my god, thank you, thank you for, like, you know, not, I don't want to say it in a mean way. I don't mean it in a mean way. I just can't think of another way of saying it, but like, for using your brains, guys. And like not reacting in a negative way, but like being like, it's not the player's fault, you know, it's the company's fault. So I'm so happy everybody's doing that. Oh man, it makes me so happy. And I hope that honestly this video gets more views, and I hope that these posts get more views too, and I hope that this message spreads like COVID. Okay, that is pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your understanding and for your maturity. It is fantastic. Thank you all so much. I'm so happy. I am beyond the moon just because I can see that there is positivity being spread in this community, and I really hope it continues. Oh my god. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I cover love and Deepspace, and all the updates gonna come out in the next few days. I am going to be pulling for Caleb's banner probably after the 3rd, April 3rd. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But, you know, very excited. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I am Lynn, the Gacha Goblin, and I'll see you lovelies